It's the night he came home again, my children! We have not talked about the Halloween franchise before, which is certainly an error on my part. It's the name of the season, after all. So let's take a look at a critically acclaimed Halloween story, shall we? Make no attempt to fit this into any particular part of the franchise. The only thing to remember is that Michael Myers is still alive, still stalking, but he's moved on from Haddonfield and is instead settling into a new life in Russellville, Illinois. And yet somehow it is still filmed in California. This is Lisa, a girl who is afraid to step out into the night thanks to a traumatic incident she once had a few years ago. She had been babysitting a boy named Daniel, and one time they ran off into the woods to play. She forgot to alert the boy's family where they'd be, and they came across a cabin. The child running inside. She chased after him, but something occurred during that time, and she found him bleeding in a cellar. When she was down in that cellar, she looked up at the stairwell and saw a shape in silhouette that closed the cellar door and kept them trapped for 2 days. Both were traumatized, though in Daniel's case, he now sends Lisa regular crayon drawings, but the latest batch contained a few disturbing ones. Meanwhile, husband and wife Ryan and Marcy decide to head to Russellville to check in on Marcy's parents. Usually they would be nagging her on a daily basis, but they have been strangely quiet for some time now. Along the way, they accidentally hit a girl fleeing from Michael Myers and his cabin, the only survivor of a few others who had been slaughtered by him. Marcy is stabbed and taken by Michael, Ryan only surviving with some head trauma and other injuries. He manages to take the injured girl to a hospital and is interviewed by the police. They are suspicious. They know of Michael Myers and are terrified of the possibility that he might be around. But on the other hand, maybe Ryan is the real perpetrator. After all, there's no evidence that his wife was with him, so how can they be sure? He runs off to find his wife, eventually running into Lisa, whose friends have been slowly killed off one by the good Mr. Myers. Nor are they not easy deaths either. One friend is captured by him, and we see things from Michael's point of view while he stuffs an apple in her mouth, her just praying for salvation after breaking her parents' curfew. And all Michael sees is a clown that he is stabbing. Michael is very busy when he finally catches up to Lisa, hanging up some of his own crayon artwork on her wall. Images of stabbing and pumpkins and one crossed-off image of Dr. Loomis with the word "No" written over it. Does that mean he should not kill him? Perhaps his sense of life and death, good and evil, is not as rudimentary as one might think. Or, he's insane and his logic only makes sense to him. That works too. Ryan and Lisa meet up at the home of Daniel's family, who just happens to also be Marcy's family. Sadly, they're all dead by now, victims of Michael. Unseen by Lisa is a picture of her amongst them, with the name of Michael's murdered sister Judith written under it. Ryan drags Lisa along on the hunt for his wife, knowing that Michael is after her. Unfortunately, when they confront Michael in his cabin lair, it seems she is already dead. But hey, Ryan soon joins her in the afterlife. Thanks mainly to Michael putting one of his spare masks on him and shoving him outside into a bunch of waiting police, whom of course assume that he is Michael and open fire. And Lisa? Sadly, she is never found, buried alive by Michael on a grave he dug for her, the name Judith Myers hanging over it. While I provide merely a summary of these events, my children, I cannot overstate how poetic this story is. Talk of wanting to live, of seeing the suffering of life as a force of evil stalks and kills them, of Lisa's desire to dance in starlight, and that dream being snuffed out. Perhaps it could have even been avoided if Ryan hadn't dragged her along. But in the end, Ryan was right about one thing. We can't just be the playthings of demons. We have to be able to fight them, to save ourselves and the people we care about. Because if our future has been planned by monsters, or even seen by them, then death truly is all we'll ever have. and the fragments of life that we cling to in between will just be a sick, sick joke. But not for me, my children. Personally speaking, things got way more fun for me after I died.